Welcome to the Thrive Tribe podcast, a place to discover a community of practitioners who can support women to achieve good health beyond just the traditional methods. It's also a place to empower women with the knowledge they need to better prepare their body, mind, and spirit at each stage of their life, from periods through menopause. I'm Chandani Shah Mochwani, your host and functional nutritional therapist. I look at each individual's unique needs to manage their long-term health challenges and prevent future issues long before symptoms appear. Our body whispers. I work together with you to identify those signals and address critical areas to set you on a path of vibrant health and vitality. Our sponsor, Blissamy, is your personal health companion, a smart platform that blends your biometrics, life stage, and wellness goals to create a tailored health journey just for you. Whether you're navigating women's health, chronic care, or mental well-being, Blissamy guides you to the right holistic providers, products, and programs all in one place. Hi everyone, we have with us Dr. Ardyce Yik from Integrated Medical Institute here in Hong Kong. She's a really well-regarded naturopathic medicine doctor. We're very excited to have you here with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So let's just get straight into it. Part of my journey with this podcast and interviewing different practitioners has been interviewing people who have helped me in my healing journey. I went through fertility issues and postpartum and pregnancy, and grateful for all of it, but I had some amazing people help me. And so we're very lucky to have Dr. Ardyce Yik as a naturopath doctor here in Hong Kong. And I'm very lucky to have found you as well. But you're not actually from Hong Kong, are you? You actually came to Hong Kong later. So if you could share a little bit about your background and your story with us.
So basically I was born in Hong Kong, but I left when I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
My parents and I immigrated to Toronto, Canada, and I grew up there. So I was educated there. I did my training there. And in 2008, I came back with my husband.
Okay.
Yes.
So still it's been like 15 plus years.
Yes.
So you have it 17 years since you've been back. So
Yes,
Hong Kong is
that's right.
home now.
Yes, Hong Kong is home. And we
Yeah.
have 3 kids, and they were born here and raised here. So yeah, Hong Kong is home
Oh,
right
wow.
now. Yeah.
Okay, that's really great. Great. So naturopathic medicine, I think the word naturopathy is really hard for people to understand because there's so many naturopaths and there's so many different umbrellas under that. Like you had mentioned to me, there's Ayurveda, there's Chinese medicine, there's homeopathy.
Yeah.
What is naturopathic medicine?
Let's take a step back and talk
Okay.
about naturopathy. Naturopathy is this umbrella term that we use to describe anything that we use naturally to heal the body and help the body heal itself.
Okay.
But in North America, naturopathic medicine is regulated.
Okay.
And
Yes.
to become a licensed naturopathic doctor,
Yeah.
you need to do your pre-med first, and then you have to go to an accredited naturopathic medical school. You need to get Western medical training. We study the basic medical sciences, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, pathology, and then we also learn about the naturopathic medical medicines.
Okay.
So we're talking about like functional medicine, nutrition, talking about homeopathy, and
Okay.
so basically it's like a system where we're looking at the underlying causes of illness.
Right.
We're looking at a person holistically, so encompassing like the physical, mental, emotional well-being of the person.
Yeah.
And we're really looking to treat the root causes so that the person can thrive.
Okay.
So it's not just, okay, I've got a symptom or I've got a problem. Okay, let's deal with that problem.
Yeah.
It's more holistic than that. So we're looking at a lot of different things, and we're trained to see how things are interconnected. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So I think something that stood out to me that you just said was that you also trained you learned about homeopathy, you learned about Chinese medicine. So these are all different types of
Modalities.
that have helped me actually. I've gone to Chinese medicine, I've done homeopathy a little bit here and there. So do you apply all of those principles then in naturopathy? So it includes a lot of the other modalities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it depends on the patient as well.
Okay.
So for me, I use a very holistic sort of patient-centric approach. So because I have all these tools in my toolbox, when I see the patient, I will listen to their health history, I listen to the story, I'll do lab testing. And what I'm doing is I'm using what I know and my knowledge to put the pieces of the puzzle together so that I am going to come up with a treatment plan that probably encompasses a combination of nutritional therapy, nutraceuticals, so supplementation, perhaps vitamins, minerals, medicinal herbs. For me, I do more of the traditional Chinese medicine side versus homeopathy, just because I feel like in Hong Kong, it's very easy for me to pick out like different constitutions for us Asians. So for me, I do some traditional Chinese medicine diagnostics in my practice too.
Okay. Yeah. You also bring in the allopathic side of stuff too, because if I remember correctly, you just said that you actually have to go to medical school for it, right? For the first.
Yeah. So actually in Canada, licensed naturopathic doctors are primary care physicians. So we can prescribe pharmaceutical drugs as needed.
Okay.
Some perform minor surgery. They do intravenous therapies. We do gynecological exams, etc.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but in Hong Kong, I'm not licensed. I'm not a registered medical practitioner here. I am registered in Ontario right now, Ontario, Canada.
I remember I was looking up naturopathic medicine before I came to you, and I saw that some people even study like minor surgery and a lot of like different things. So I think that's important for our listeners to actually know, is that you have exposure to when you come to a naturopathic medicine doctor, you actually have someone who knows the lay of the land, right? You've actually done the biology, the processes, the foundation of those things. And then you're also applying it in conjunction with the herbals and supplements, like you said.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of people come in thinking, oh, I'm just going to be doing the natural side of things. But no, if there's a need to refer, I will refer. If I feel like, look, pharmaceutical drugs are appropriate for you right now at this moment, I will say, look, you need to take this. And so it's really encompassing the West and the East and natural medicine as well as functional medicine. So a lot of people nowadays are talking about how well is my body functioning. It's not just about, oh, I don't have a disease. It's more about how can I help my body to optimize health, optimize wellness, and thrive at every stage of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I remember coming to you and you did the genetic side of stuff. So you did the genetic testing, but then you also gave me Chinese herbal medicine. So I think that's a really good representation of the fact that you can look at both. What made you want to become a naturopathic doctor? What led you down this path?
Okay. Ever since I was young, I think I really enjoyed helping people and just being this encourager to people. And I think I have a nurturing and positive personality. I did my pre-med at the University of Toronto thinking that I would study Western conventional medicine. But then I came across naturopathic medicine and something just clicked. I was just fascinated by the concept of really dealing with the underlying cause. It's not just about symptoms. We really want to dig in and address the root causes of why someone is unwell. And also looking at a person holistically and not just, you've got a headache, let's just give you a painkiller for that. No, we want to find the root cause and what else could be like affecting this headache, or how do I say, what could be causing this headache so it doesn't come back.
I think that's the key, so it doesn't come back. We all have damage, but we are not perfect at implementing everything in healing. But it's the point is that we don't want to just cover or mask it.
Exactly, and then disease prevention as well. So I feel like it's one thing to deal with a disease or a condition and then say, okay, we've managed it, that's it. But then long-term wise, like health promotion, disease prevention, I feel like it presents a more proactive approach to health. And I really resonate with that. I don't want to wait until something happens for me to react to it, because sometimes that's too late, or the journey to recovery would take a much longer time.
That's why this whole space of longevity and like everything has come into place. And I think it's like you studied this back in like the 2000s and and functional medicine and naturopathy is really, it's always been there, but people are just really embracing it right now because they're not healing in the traditional ways anymore. A lot of our listeners are women, and I myself as a woman, my period, my cycle has been the ruler of me for so long. It depends. The week before, the week after, it's like cramps, like pain, moodiness, all of those things. But I feel like I'm really at the behest of it at sometimes. And I came to you and you've really helped me with that. And I've done Chinese medicine as well. And like I've gone through my own healing journey. But we as women have to deal with this cycle, right?
Every month.
Exactly. For long periods of our life. And it's so integrated with our wellness and our own happiness. But like, how does naturopathic medicine actually approach women's wellness and cycles? Like, how does it help, or what's the approach it takes to that?
We use a holistic and a personalized approach, okay, to women's health and to anything really.
Okay.
And so what we're looking for is not only to correct hormonal imbalances, which
Right.
could be there.
Right.
Okay, so we will be using herbal supplements or nutraceuticals, vitamins, minerals, natural medicines to help correct the hormonal imbalances, but we also integrate lifestyle changes, nutritional changes, stress management,
Yeah.
and other therapies to really help promote long-term hormonal optimization. Everyone is unique. And the reasons why you may have menstrual irregularities or gynecological issues are unique too.
Okay.
And so as a naturopathic doctor, what I would do is I would listen to your story. I would listen to your health history. Then I might do some extensive lab testing
Okay.
to figure out what's really going on internally. Is there a hormonal imbalance, or is it more emotional? Because stress also impacts our hormones too. So I'm really taking the time to investigate. Okay. And I feel in Hong Kong, that's quite rare, because what my patients tell me is you wait for maybe half an hour, you see the doctor or the OB for 10, 15 minutes, and then you're out there with a prescription. It's not holistic enough. So that's really, it could be a Band-Aid solution.
Okay.
It could address the root cause, but many times it doesn't.
Right.
And so when people come in, I really take the time to listen and to investigate. And depending on what I find,
Yeah.
I use a combination of what we just talked about.
So you said root causes, right? Can we talk a little bit about what are some of those root causes? Like you mentioned hormonal imbalances, but what leads us to hormonal imbalances? I know that I've looked at, when talking to people, it's been a lot about maybe sugar, right? High sugar levels, eating too much sugar or too much carb in your diet, or genetically that. Or I've also seen, you mentioned stress, right now, and I've heard the word the cortisol steal. So could you just share a little bit more about some of the root causes?
Sure, yeah. So let's talk about sugar first. Absolutely. We know that studies show that when you eat excessive sugar, it actually prevents us from ovulating. And then that in of itself is already this hormone imbalance going on. So blood sugar metabolism is huge when we're talking about root cause, especially when you're looking at fertility or trying to get pregnant. Okay. Cortisol, yes. With stress, it impacts your hormones because from a Chinese medicine perspective, I'll talk about it this way. Stress actually impedes our energy flow. And when there's not good circulation going on, sometimes what happens is our nutrients can't get into
when you say
organs.
Energy flow, you mean the chi?
The chi, yeah. Okay. And blood, energy, and chi and blood. And so nutrients aren't getting into our organ systems. Our organ systems aren't getting the nutrients they need to produce and manage these hormones. And perhaps maybe what's going on is metabolized hormones that should be out from our system aren't getting out because of the stagnation. So that could be another cause.
Okay, so your liver being backed up, basically.
Yes, and so I usually also look at liver health because we know that a healthy liver is vital for metabolizing hormones. And what else? Hormone fluctuations.
So all of this will cause what kind of symptoms? What do you expect? Or
PMS, right?
Or PMS or
anything. Yeah, so for PMS, it could be anything ranging from like bloating, from breast distension to mood swings, food cravings. Another thing is our mood, right? Yeah. So another cause of PMS might be insufficient serotonin. So serotonin is this neurotransmitter that's linked to mood, our digestion, and our energy levels. Okay, so it's like the happy hormone.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know this, but 90% of our serotonin is made in our gut. And so when I am assessing you, you're telling me that you've got these massive mood swings or you're feeling depressed or anxious, then I'm not only looking at the brain health, but I'm also looking at the gut health, okay? Because we know that a healthy microbiome means that you will have healthy levels of serotonin. But if you've got gut dysbiosis, if you have imbalances in the gut microbiome, then that will impact your body's ability to produce serotonin in the body. As I said, it's really holistic. It's really looking at the underlying causes as we're
like you're not going to give a serotonin pill. You're going to say, wait, why is your serotonin low?
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And you said it could be in the gut, as we all have been hearing for so long, is the source of so much of our health.
For sure. And another easy, more natural sort of serotonin hack is exercise, right? Because exercise will release endorphins. It will bring our mood up. So that's a really easy thing to do if you're able to. Just get regular, moderate intensity exercise in.
So PMS symptoms, you went through all of these PMS symptoms. That's not normal, right? Like, women have learned to just live with it. And you are, and I know that when I came to you, I told you, you're like, wait, the first thing we need to do is get you stop feeling like that, right? Yeah. So how are we supposed to feel when we are going through these different cycles?
It should just come and go. If you're very healthy, your period should just come for maybe 5 to 7 days. It goes, and then that's really it.
You don't feel any different?
I don't feel any different. I think because I walk the talk, I actually, what I tell my patients to do, I actually do it.
Yeah.
So when my period comes, like, yes, I might feel slightly fatigued because of the loss of blood.
Yes.
But I would say that my PMS symptoms are minimal unless I had a very stressful month. But in general, it just comes and goes. And of course, I know how to nourish myself, right? So let's talk about that, because there has been a lot of talk about eating right for the different menstrual phases in your cycle.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely right. This is called cycle syncing.
Okay. Yes. Great.
Okay. Basically, we can help our bodies feel better when we are aligned and we're in tune with the rise and the fall of the different hormones.
Yeah.
Depending on which phase of the cycle you are in. All right.
Okay,
So for example, during menstruation.
Actually, quickly, for our listeners, what are the 4 phases of the cycle? Let's go through the 4 cycles.
Yeah. Okay. So the 4 phases in the menstrual cycle is the menstrual phase, which is when you get your period. So that's about day 1 to about day 5, day 7. Then you've got your follicular phase, which is from day 1 to about day 14.
Yes.
And that is when your body is preparing the follicle, the egg, so that it can mature and be released at ovulation time. So ovulation is around day 14, 15, and then you've got your luteal phase.
And that's the phase where you will get pregnant or won't get pregnant.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so interesting. The reason I brought this up is because we get periods in our teens, right? Early to late teens, depending on who you are. But no one explains these different cycles to you until you're really trying to get pregnant. And let's say you just aren't able to get pregnant. You don't actually learn about this. I think it's a long time to go without actually knowing what's happening to you every month, every week.
For sure,
right?
Yeah. We need to revamp the health classes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you're talking about cycle syncing. So it's actually syncing cycles to these 4 different phases.
That's right. Yeah. So I'll talk about menstruation, because that's a time when I think our bodies need to, step back. I see menstruation as a reset. And during this time, some people may feel more tired. They may feel cold. If that's the case, then I would tell them, look, you need to be eating warm cooked foods, like more soups, more stews. You need to be eating more iron-rich foods because you're losing blood. So we're talking about eggs, grass-fed beef, poultry, kidney beans, black beans, etc. And you need to be dialing back on your exercise. Okay, so the first 2 days, if you're too tired, I say, you know what, just take a break. Or just dial back on your intensive workouts and just do moderate activity instead of plowing through, because this is a time when your body is losing blood. And so it's really important to just rest and replenish and reset, really.
Yeah, okay. And then after menstruation is ovulation.
So this is when your body is maturing the egg that's going to be released at ovulation time.
This is called the follicular phase.
Yes.
So after menstruation is the follicular phase.
And in your luteal phase, that is when, if the egg is fertilized, it will travel down the fallopian tube, get implanted, and pregnancy will occur. And if not, during this phase, progesterone rises, and what happens is your body is preparing for the pregnancy, right? So your uterine lining thickens. You may be feeling actually good energy during this phase to prepare just in case for pregnancy.
Yeah. And so in the luteal phase is when you should exercise the most, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. Okay, so in the luteal phase you exercise. What about the follicular phase?
So follicular phase, it's really about nourishing. So lots of vegetables, nuts and seeds, protein, just making sure that you are giving enough nutrients to your body to make sure that the egg is going to mature nicely and get released at the opportune time. Is there any specific kind of movement you should be doing in each of these phases? You said in menstruation, take it easy. And then in follicular, what would you? I would say your energy levels do increase from the menstrual phase to the menstrual phase is part of the follicular phase. So as we come out from our periods, that's when I say you can definitely up your exercise. Some people will find that during ovulation, they'll feel a little tired, a little bit bloated, and on those few days, so maybe day 13 to 15, I'll say, maybe take it easy too. And if you're trying to get pregnant, then from about day 10 onwards, you do want to get busy with your partner.
Yeah.
And then I believe luteal phase usually is a time when we feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless you have PMS. So PMS can occur a few days to 2 weeks before the period or right after ovulation. And it's really important. Yeah, it's really important if you're feeling bloated, you've got water retention, or you're suffering from migraines, to really address these issues. Don't just live through them. You're right. Like a lot of people, they say, oh, it's normal. Normal doesn't equal healthy.
Yeah. Normal doesn't equal healthy. And also being fine is not great. You want to get better than fine.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm so grateful because my PMS symptoms did drop once I started supporting the hormonal changes that happen, right? Because sometimes our body, or you said our liver health or something, is not in the right place. So what are some problems that you see really that come to you, whether it's hormonal or other problems in the difficulties in trying to conceive?
Yeah, there are so many factors that affect fertility and our ability to carry a baby to term.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to share with you maybe the top 3 things that listeners may not have thought about just yet. But in my practice, the top 3 that I usually look at is, number 1, reproductive immunology.
Okay.
So for some people, what happens is when they have a fertilized egg, because their immune systems are overreactive, their bodies will shoot out immune cells and unregulated inflammatory cytokines, which are basically inflammatory cells that attack the fertilized egg.
Okay.
And this will prevent pregnancy.
Wow. Okay.
So if someone comes to me and says, look, I've been trying to get pregnant for years, or I'm getting recurrent miscarriages and no one knows why because I'm healthy, then I say, okay, let's get some of those immune tests done. And usually it's through blood tests. So we're testing for the different cytokines, we're testing for autoimmune markers, we're testing for like how well your immunity or your immune system is functioning.
Right.
Because we want to rule out any of those inflammatory cytokines or immune cells that are attacking and potentially preventing you to become pregnant. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2 is looking at how well your body is functioning. Really. So I'm looking at the different biological areas and looking at how well your genes code for those specific functions.
Okay.
So for fertility, all right, there are specific biological functions that are key to helping us fall pregnant and also keeping the pregnancy. Right. So there's methylation. So that is the ability to activate B vitamins for DNA replication and repair, because that's huge. Like when you're growing a baby, DNA replication is huge. So that's
why everyone talks about folate and folic acid, right?
That's right.
There's a lot of B vitamins.
Yes.
But that's the one that I think everyone has heard the most about.
For sure. Yes. So methylation is one of them. Detox. Right, detoxification, how well your body is detoxing. So studies show that when we have toxic overload, our bodies just can't get pregnant. Okay, and it affects sperm quality, egg quality. And so looking at how well your body is detoxing is also key. We're also looking at inflammation, how well your body regulates inflammation, how well your body is managing foreign substances that come into the body. So that's inflammation. Then we've got oxidative stress, which is how well you're aging, basically. What is the age of your eggs or your sperm? Because your chronological age doesn't necessarily reflect your biological age. So chronological age is basically how old you are, like how old you are on Earth. But biological age is really your age internally.
How do you assess that?
Through testing. So so I will discuss this when you come into the office, and we'll discuss the various
tests. Just out of curiosity, what kind of tests would you do for biological age?
It's longevity tests.
Okay.
But then if we're talking about the DNA test, then we're talking about just inflammation, oxidative stress. And then there's blood sugar metabolism, how well you are managing your blood sugar levels. Because as I said before, if your blood sugar is not maintained well, chances are you're not ovulating.
Right. Actually, that's what I know. It's called the hormone cascade, where it's like the foundation is your insulin and your glucagon and your sugar hormones, basically, and then the thyroid hormones, and then the sex hormones. And that's really the priority of the body as well. So if you don't make those well, you can't make the sex hormones well. Right.
That's right.
That's really interesting. So, and I think that's what people don't really understand, why the sugar would impact their ovaries, or their egg health.
Absolutely, yeah. But everything's connected. And that's the beauty of naturopathic and functional medicine.
Yeah.
We're looking at everything. It's not just you want to get pregnant and let's just put the sperm and the egg together and that's it.
Right.
Because even for IVF, there's only a 25-30% success rate.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the other 70-75%? It's really how the body's functioning.
Right.
So the second one, as I said, we're looking at genetics, how well your body is performing these functions to help you grow a baby to term. Okay.
Right.
And if there are genetic defects or variants, then what I would do is I'm going to help support the body to override these defects and variants or deletions. Okay. So I will be supporting your body to do what it cannot do so that you can still have a baby, okay, and improve your chances of either conceiving naturally or through IVF.
Right.
Okay, so that's the second one. And then the third reason what I'm seeing is the gut microbiome. What I'm seeing is that it turns out that the gut microbiome does affect fertility, okay, because when you have an imbalance in the gut, when the microbiome is imbalanced, there's inflammation going on, egg quality is affected, sperm quality is affected.
Yeah.
You have an increased risk for conditions like PCOS and recurrent miscarriages. And so nowadays I'm also asking, hey, how's your digestion? How's your gut health? I ask a lot about digestion, your poop, just everything. And so it's really about leaving no stone unturned.
Once you finally get pregnant, right? How do you stay healthy? I want to have a great postpartum, right? Women are struggling. I want to have a good pregnancy. It's the most natural thing our body's supposed to go through. But so many of us are just feeling so exhausted during the time.
Yeah, for sure. And so there are a couple of things that we want to make sure that we're doing. So the first one would be just a whole foods balanced diet. Okay, making sure that you are nourishing you as well as your baby.
Okay.
And making sure that you've got the essential nutrients for pregnancy, such as folate, calcium, omega-3s, and iron. Okay. And of course, protein, fats, carbohydrates, those are macronutrients. Yeah, and just making sure that you've got the nutrients that you need for pregnancy that are essential to pregnancy, such as folate, calcium, omega-3s, vitamin D, and iron. Okay. Yeah. So that's number one. And then number two is just resting. We women, we are expected to do it all. We're doing everything, everywhere, all the time. But when you're pregnant, you need to understand that there is a growing fetus. You're growing a baby inside of you. And so it's so important to just slow down, to rest, and to sleep. And that is why in the first trimester, a lot of women are tired. It's because the body's, look, I'm growing a baby in here. I need rest so that I can focus on growing this baby. And so I usually say, look, if you need to sleep, if you need to nap, nap. Okay. Exercise is also very important, but of course, pregnancy appropriate exercise. And you may want to run it by, if you're on like a specific exercise routine, or you want to adopt like a new sort of exercise workout, I think it's important to talk to your OB first. Okay. And then stress management. Because when we are pregnant, a lot of times we're feeling, as we mentioned, we're feeling tired. We've got so much to do. We may have another child to take care of. We've got the household to take care of. We take the brunt of taking care of the family.
It's a mental load as well, right? And that actually causes a lot of stress, but it's mental load.
So stress management can look different for different people because they're all very unique.
And postpartum.
Okay. So postpartum, So a lot of people come to me and we're really, how do I say? Postpartum is a very trying time, I would say.
I found it way harder than pregnancy.
Because everyone talks about pregnancy and how you can stay healthy during pregnancy, but no one really talks about the postpartum period.
And then you get slammed with it and you're like, wait, I had no idea it was going to be this hard. I had no idea that I wasn't going to sleep and I had to eat a lot, but you're just in this like crazy and you're gained weight.
Exactly.
We're struggling emotionally, mentally over it.
For sure. So we're talking about like mood changes. We're talking about exhaustion. We're talking about having a baby attached to you or you're pumping around the clock. And we're talking about, as you said, like weight gain and body changes. Our bodies went through tremendous change during pregnancy. And so for me, the first thing is really listening to the patient and seeing what they need first. So if it's exhaustion, then I would give them perhaps natural medicines, herbal supplements to really help to replenish the energy. Once again, traditional Chinese medicine is great in this, where I give them like really appropriate doses of herbal meds to really replenish
Right.
what they need.
Okay.
Replenishing nutrients is also very important. So
Mhm.
ensure that they're eating right,
Mhm.
that they are not skipping meals, especially if you're breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Okay. And then looking at how to smoothen or ease the transition
Right.
back into pre-pregnancy state.
Right.
Okay. So my goal is to help you get back to your pre-pregnancy state or even healthier. Okay. And so it could be giving you, once again, just nutraceuticals to really help you get back on track.
Yeah.
If your cortisol is out of whack because of the sleep schedule, then I
Yeah.
would be rebalancing your cortisol.
Mm.
If it's weight gain or water retention, I would be giving you certain remedies or different nutraceuticals, vitamins, minerals to really help with that, lymphatic drainage, water retention. And yeah, if losing weight is also something that we need to do, then I will help you slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question for you. This is it's a reality of our life and of the world today. People are getting pregnant a lot later. People are going through this whole trying to conceive, pregnancy, and postpartum, and like maybe 10 years later than our previous generation.
Yes.
Like, how is that impacting the experience of trying to conceive, of going through pregnancy and postpartum?
Well, I think it really depends on the person.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of ladies, a lot of women who get pregnant in their 30s or even 40s, they're already very financially stable. So I think
Okay.
that is a good thing because then you don't have to worry about the finances.
Stress.
Yes, but definitely if you're financially stable, it probably means that you are up in that field of whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
And so with that comes more responsibility. And I
Yes.
think that is where we see the struggle.
Okay.
It's that balance, that work-life balance. And if you do have a lot of responsibilities, then
Yeah.
you are very tired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And even with your postpartum, you might be checking your email or you might be going into the office a lot earlier than if you were just in your 20s and perhaps not working. You don't have that many work responsibilities. And so I feel like it's really a give and take. There are pros and cons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say you do you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know a lot of people who are freezing their eggs now
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that they can have the option of getting pregnant later on with egg quality. So I was going to say egg quality is also something that we need to consider because after the age of 35, egg quality does decrease. It doesn't have to, but it does start to decline. And of course, there are nutraceuticals and just supplements that can help to really boost egg quality and maintain egg quality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's ways to support yourself, but it's also more of a mental game. That's what you're saying, right? Because some people could be really young and very stressed out about making money, like you said. And then some people can be high flyers and like just not have the time to calm their system down. So that's more of the mental game. But what about the physical changes that our body is like as we
You
age?
are older. So generally people in their 40s would feel more tired than people in their 20s and 30s.
I'm experiencing, I'm like late 30s, had a baby. And I was like, you know what? This is why I could party in my 20s till 2 a.m. because that's when I was supposed to have my baby.
Yes.
Biologically.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of naturopathic medicine. That's where the herbs and the supplements come in to help replenish and to help really boost the system. Okay. Yeah. So definitely there's help for that, but I hear you.
All right, great. So now we've gone through all these different phases and stages that as women we go through, but let's say we're approaching our early 40s, our late 30s. I know so many women in their late 30s now who are experiencing perimenopausal symptoms, which I know that's a little too early, but like, how do we deal with this new phase in life? Because let me give you an example.
Sure.
I've had friends come to me like who are much older being like, I didn't even know I was going through this. I was getting mad at everyone around me. I didn't know. I thought I was just an angry person, or I was just feeling depressed and I just went inward, or I just gained so much weight and now I hate myself and don't look in the mirror. But so people don't even realize that they're going through anything. Yeah.
So first of all, I think awareness is key. And I feel like nowadays there's a wealth of information out there. We are more blessed and more fortunate than our predecessors. And you're right. And the symptoms of perimenopause could be like different, how do I say this? The symptoms of perimenopause can be like anything and everything. Right. So it can be like menstrual irregularities, heavy periods, lighter periods. It could be hair thinning. It could be weight gain. It could be decreased libido. It could be depression, anxiety, irritability, all of those things, skin sagging, like all of those things. And I think being aware of our body changes is key, and then seeking help for it. So a lot of women, I find, they feel like, oh, it's just something I need to go through. so I'll just suffer in silence. Or maybe, oh, I'm just too busy. I don't have the time to take care of myself. But I say, no, you don't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. There are nutraceuticals, herbal medicines, vitamins, minerals available to really help transition us into this stage. And I always tell my patients, like, actually, the beauty of being in your late 30s, 40s, and 50s, it comes from this increased self-awareness, confidence, emotional maturity, and all of these things will lead to, I believe, greater inner peace, more meaningful relationships, and a more sort of dynamic sort of work, family, life balance. And so it can be something beautiful. This can be a very wonderful stage in our lives. But if we do have symptoms, we need to seek help, seek support. It's just like if you broke your arm, you would seek support for that. But a lot of women don't understand that, hey, you don't have to suffer in silence when you're going through perimenopause or menopause. And I feel like also, the thing with Western medicine is that for menopause, you've got your hormonal therapy, right? But then in that transition period, they do offer it, but a lot of ladies are like, well, I'm still getting my period, so why should I go on hormone therapy so quickly or so soon? And so they're unaware that between doing nothing and taking hormones, there's this naturopathic functional medicine realm that can really help to support you through this stage. So as we age, and especially when we reach menopause, all the hormones are really at the baseline, very low. But the thing is, our bodies are still functioning. We still need to be eating, we still need to be exercising, and we know that estrogen is really important for skin, hair, bones. Okay, so bone health is really linked to estrogen. And so if you're not going to take hormone therapy, then I would strongly suggest you to take like herbal supplements, like what I would prescribe, like nutraceuticals, herbal supplements, to help sustain like at least a level of hormones to help. Okay, lifestyle is also very critical. So doing weight-bearing exercise. A lot of women don't know, but starting the age of 30, 35, you're starting to lose bone mass. And so you do need to get out there. And it's not only the cardio aerobic exercise, it's also the weight training so that we keep the calcium in our bones. Okay, so calcium, vitamin D, as I said, the herbal supplements to help really sustain a certain level of hormones is important.
Why doesn't our body naturally create those hormones at that stage anymore? Or is it because we are having impaired systems and functions? Because our body shifts from building hormones in our ovaries to our adrenals.
Yes, and so once the ovaries, basically we do have a limited ovarian reserve. And so when we run out of those follicles, then pretty much our childbearing years are over and we are entering into a different stage. And so I think biological wise, a long time ago, people just lived until like 60, maybe 50s and 60s. And so they didn't have all of these sort of, these issues that we're dealing with. Nowadays, we're living until 80, 90. And so we've got a few more decades to live, which is amazing. But it's one thing to live so long. It's another to thrive in those years. And I feel like naturopathic medicine can really help one thrive in every stage because we know what the body needs. And so you're right. Yes, things are slowing down. Our bodies are, I don't want to say breaking down because I don't feel like it's breaking down, but it is slowly aging. And it's a natural process. But to be healthy and to age gracefully, I think those things are key.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're living so much longer. We're not biologically used to dealing with this for such a long period of time. What I love is I've heard this saying that menopause is like a second spring. Actually, we return. It's like a new version of ourselves, but as children we didn't have periods and we were free and free-spirited, and you can actually embrace that at that phase of your life too, but in a more mature way, which is what you were referring to. It can be absolutely beautiful.
For sure. So I see patients in their 50s and 60s, and some of them are already retired and they're doing like amazing things, or they're still working and they're just doing amazing things outside of work. They're really building community. They're giving back to community. They are traveling, seeing the world. They're very happy seeing their kids grow, maybe seeing some grandkids. And so it's once again, it can be a very beautiful time in our lives. It's just having that support there to support you so that you can thrive in that stage.
Great. This has been such a great conversation. Okay.
Great.
So you're meeting so many amazing people and helping so many people through nutraceuticals and naturopathic medicine. Do you have any memorable stories that just keep making you want to come back to work?
Yeah, I think it's really helping people achieve their health goals. Okay, so two come to mind. One is I had a 50-year-old come to me. She wanted to get pregnant via IVF.
Yeah.
And I said, look, we'll do what we can. So in a couple of months, I improved her egg quality. We turned her diet around. We turned her lifestyle around. And I gave her supplements to improve egg quality, to manage her stress. And before coming to me, she had maybe 7 to 8 unsuccessful IVF procedures done already. So she was at the end of the rope. She was 50 already. And so she said, Dr. Yik, you're my last hope. And if I don't get pregnant this time, that's it. Like, because at 50, it's either you get pregnant now or that's it, really. And yeah, and so she ended up getting pregnant and she had twins and I ended up seeing the twins.
Oh.
And so it's really, that really was very touching because I felt like I was instrumental in helping her achieve her dream. Yeah. And another one would be, well, I had several patients who had PCOS and the OBs were like, you'll have to do certain procedures, you'll have to do this and do that. They came to me and I helped to rebalance their hormones. I cleaned up their diet and yeah, and one of them has 4 kids now. Yeah, and as I said, I love helping people. I really want to encourage and empower people positively. So I feel like there needs to be more laughter in this world.
Do you have any last advice or words you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I'm going to say that your health is your greatest wealth. So prioritize it, invest in your health so that your future self will thank you.
Yeah. So true. And even if we don't have time, find time.
Find time.
Because there's a million excuses not to. Oh. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Thanks.